Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a very focused deep dive today.
Mm.
Do you, or maybe someone you know, ever experience that persistent, really unwelcome sensation? Maybe a deep numbness or sometimes a burning feeling, almost like fire, or that strange electric-like tingling, especially, in the toes or maybe across the top of your feet.
That kind of feeling, it's usually not just simple stiffness or being tired. Doctors generally call it peripheral neuropathy, and our research shows it's incredibly common, but it's also really confusing for people. We found sources listing, believe it or not, over 50 different significant causes, and they range quite a bit from very serious chronic conditions all the way down to just common everyday biomechanical stress, just from how you walk or stand.
Wow, 50 causes.
Okay.
So what's our mission for this deep dive then? We've gathered a pretty substantial body of research, and we're focusing specifically on the tools, the techniques you can actually use at home. Things to manage, maybe reduce, or even hopefully eliminate this chronic pain.
Yeah, and what's really encouraging, I think, is that the materials strongly suggest that for a large percentage of people, some sources are quite confident, saying maybe 90% there's powerful relief possible. Right now, using things you can do yourself without needing advanced procedures or anything like that.
That's great news. So we're going to guide you through those steps. We'll take it nice and slow, make it clear, and try to connect all the dots as we go.
Absolutely. So before we even think about treating the foot directly, we really have to start inside the body. The research is just crystal clear on this. Managing the common underlying systemic causes is the most fundamental home remedy. It's step one.
Systemic causes. Like, what specifically are we talking about?
Well, primarily we're looking at conditions like consistently high blood sugar, so levels often staying up around 200 or so. Also, chronic excessive alcohol intake, that's a big one. Certain thyroid diseases can contribute, the lingering effects from chemotherapy sometimes, and, well, just general aging plays a role too.
What I found really fascinating in digging through this research was this idea that the nerve pain isn't always like permanent damage. The sources suggest that sometimes if you just reverse or really rigorously manage that underlying cause, the pain can actually go away.
Exactly.
Think about it. If you manage that high blood sugar, get those levels back into a healthier range. Or if someone stops the daily heavy alcohol use that's, irritating the nerves, that pain can literally start to disappear. The nerves begin to heal.
It really highlights the body's capacity for repair, doesn't it? And that leads to a crucial question you might be thinking. Okay, if the nerve's been damaged for years, can it really bounce back? Can it regenerate fully?
Yeah, that's the big question.
The research suggests, yes, it often can, but it definitely takes time, and consistency is key. You have to stop the ongoing damage first. Then the body's natural repair mechanisms can finally catch up and start working.
Okay, but stopping those habits or managing conditions like high blood sugar, that can be really challenging, right? Like if someone struggled with high blood sugar for a long, long time, maybe the nerve damage is pretty extensive. How quickly could they realistically expect to feel better just by managing their diet?
Right, it's definitely not an overnight fix, but that consistency, it really does pay huge dividends. The goal is sort of twofold. First, you want to stop the constant, ongoing inflammation and damage to the nerves, just put a stop to it. Second, you want to allow those nerve fibers to slowly remyelinate. That means rebuilding their protective coating.
The coating on the nerve.
Exactly. And this whole process, it could take months, yes. But the sources do indicate that people often report noticeable relief, less burning, less tingling, sometimes within just a few weeks of really strict management.
That really does offer some hope then. Okay, besides those internal factors, we also have to consider body weight, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. The physical strain from excess weight is enormous on the feet and legs. Significant weight loss. And we're talking maybe 50 to 100 pounds. For someone who is severely overweight, that can dramatically improve nerve pain.
Just from losing weight?
Yes. Because this specific type of pain, it's often linked to damage in the small nerve fibers. These are the ones that feel, temperature changes or light pressure. That's why you might constantly feel cold. Or that pins and needles sensation.
Okay.
So it's a fundamental nerve communication problem, not just, say, poor blood circulation, although that can be related too.
Got it. So, stabilize the internal chemistry, manage weight, then we can start tackling the external trauma, the physical side. Let's jump into some immediate fixes, things you can do right away, starting with simple physical therapy.
The sources suggest that for many, maybe even most people, this nerve pain is primarily biomechanical. It's about chronic physical trauma.
Biomechanical. meaning how we move.
Yeah, exactly. You can almost picture the nerves in your feet like really sensitive, thin electrical wires. And every single step you take, especially on a hard surface like concrete or tile, it's like pounding on those delicate wires again and again.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah, and that constant pounding leads to bruising of the nerves. That's where a lot of the pain comes from. It's especially common if you have arthritis, if you're carrying extra weight, or, and this is critical, if you habitually walk barefoot on those hard, unforgiving surfaces.
Okay, so immediate relief. Hands-on methods. What's the simplest first step? Cold and massage.
Yes, and you can actually combine them quite effectively. Instead of just using your hand, try using a solid rubber ball or even just a sturdy plastic water bottle filled with ice. Make sure it's a strong bottle, though.
Right, so it doesn't burst.
Exactly, and just roll it under the arch of your foot for, say, 10 to 15 minutes. This does two things. The ice helps reduce inflammation, and the rolling action helps ease stiffness in the tissues. It works really well for general musculoskeletal pain, and it relieves that tension that might be compressing the nerves.
Okay, now here's something important from the sources, a bit of a nuance. They mentioned that if you have true, advanced peripheral neuropathy, sometimes the cold itself can actually irritate those nerves because they're already overly sensitive.
That is a very important caution, yes. So if you find cold bothersome, use gentle pressure with the rolling, maybe don't use ice, or try warmth instead. For those cases, simple warmth or maybe deeper massage, using tools designed specifically for the arch of the foot, can still provide relief from that chronic bruising pain we talked about.
Makes sense. Proceed carefully with cold. Okay, beyond temperature and pressure, what about topical things? Creams or gels?
Yeah, the research mentioned too, highly effective over-the-counter types of options for topical pain relief. We won't name specific brands, of course. The first type works by creating a sensation kind of like deep cold, like a really intense cooling feeling. Studies suggest the pain relief from this type might last about twice as long as using a standard ice pack. When you put it on, you feel a brief tingling, and that seems to signal the pain to, well, quiet down.
Interesting. And the second type?
The second option is fascinating. It works on a completely different principle. When you apply it to the skin, it releases chemicals that essentially overwhelm the skin's sensory input system.
Overwhelm it? How?
Well, think of it like this. Your pain signal is like a small, sharp noise traveling up to your brain, right? This type of product sends a sort of massive, loud decoy signal, like static, maybe along the same pathway, and the brain basically pays attention to the loud static instead of the sharp sound of the actual pain.
So it's a distraction mechanism.
Exactly, a simple distraction at the nerve level. And it can provide pretty profound, quick relief for many people. Cheap and easy to try.
Okay, good options for immediate relief. Now, moving beyond that, stretching seems critical for long-term management.
Absolutely critical. You need to loosen the entire kinetic chain, as they say. That means focusing heavily on the hamstrings, the back of your thighs, and your calf muscle.
Why those muscles specifically?
Because tightness there translates directly into pressure and strain on your foot. Many people with foot pain also have incredibly tight calves. If you can't easily reach your toes to stretch, don't worry. Just use a simple towel or maybe a strap. Wrap it around the ball of your foot, then gently pull back, feeling the stretch in your calf and maybe hamstring. Do it slowly, hold it gently, maybe before bed, and definitely when you wake up.
And why is the timing important, like morning and night?
Well, stretching then helps move out stagnant fluid and stiffness that accumulates overnight or during the day. See, when those surrounding tissues, like the calf muscles and fascia, are tight, they become almost like rigid cages, and they compress the nerves running through them.
So loosening the cage relieves the pressure.
Precisely. When they loosen up, they put less internal pressure on everything inside your lower leg and foot, including those sensitive nerves.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, we get to what the research seemed to unanimously call the #1 protective measure.
Yes, this one came up again and again. Proper footwear and support.
It seems so basic, but let's look at why it's so crucial. If you look at what happens when you step barefoot, especially if you're older or carrying extra weight, the foot often just flattens completely under the pressure, like a pancake. And that flattening action, it stretches and literally crushes all those small nerves running on the bottom of your foot.
That crushing pressure is a primary, constant cause of chronic nerve pain in the feet for so many people, day in, day out.
So the solution has to be foundational support.
Exactly. You really have to invest in good shoes. Thick, foamy, supportive shoes and use high-quality inserts, or, if needed, custom orthotics.
What does that support actually do?
Well, it provides an arch structure, right? So it prevents the foot from flattening completely. It also helps prevent that twisting motion at the ankle that can happen when the arch collapses.
That twisting motion.
Yeah.
That's important too, isn't it? There's a specific condition related to that.
Yes, it can lead to something called tarsal tunnel syndrome. For the listener, you might know carpal tunnel syndrome in the wrist, where a nerve gets compressed in that narrow passageway.
Right.
Tarsal tunnel is the exact same idea, but it happens in the ankle. The tibial nerve gets compressed as it passes through a tunnel there. Good arch support helps prevent the ankle twisting that causes that compression.
So good shoes and inserts stop the flattening and the twisting.
Correct. And the benefit can be surprisingly quick. Sources show that just wearing supportive, cushioned shoes consistently, like really making it a habit for even just 1 week, can dramatically reduce that sharp nighttime nerve pain.
Why nighttime pain specifically?
Because you're stopping the cycle of damage that happens during the day. You're not bruising those nerves with every step, so they're calmer at night.
Now, custom orthotics sound ideal, maybe, but they can be quite expensive. Did the sources indicate if good quality supportive inserts you can buy at a drugstore work nearly as well for, say, the average person who doesn't have a really severe structural foot problem?
That's a really practical question. And yes, the general consensus was that for the vast majority of people, a high-quality, over-the-counter insert that offers firm arch support and good cushioning is often sufficient.
Okay.
The main difference with custom orthotics usually comes down to very specific individual needs, like significant ankle alignment issues or maybe a difference in leg length. But the advice is generally start with a good supportive shoe and the best over-the-counter insert you can find that feels comfortable and supportive for your arch. You'll likely see a significant improvement.
Good advice. And to help with that stretching routine we talked about earlier, using a physical aid like a stretch board, the sources recommended that too.
Absolutely. A stretch board is great because it provides measurable, consistent progress. It takes the guesswork out. You want to work gradually, make it a sustainable part of your routine. Don't overdo it at first. Start at the lowest incline setting, maybe 15 degrees. Hold it for a bit. Then, over several weeks, slowly work your way up 25 degrees, 35, maybe eventually 45 degrees.
Gradually increasing the stretch.
Yes, this gradual, measurable progress is key for safely loosening those tight tissues in the calf and improving overall blood flow down there. And you can multitask. Make it part of your daily rhythm. Maybe do it while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for your coffee to brew.
Good tip. Okay, let's shift gears a bit now and talk about managing swelling. So many people experience that nerve pain more intensely at night, right? And the sources mentioned that maybe up to 90% of people with chronic foot pain also have some degree of swelling overnight.
That's a huge factor. When you're still, especially lying down, fluid naturally tends to collect in the lower extremities due to gravity. And that swelling, that extra fluid, it physically stretches and presses on those already sensitive small nerves.
So what's the simplest home remedy for that?
Just elevation, putting your feet up.
Right, but there was a really critical distinction here in the research, wasn't there, about when elevation helps?
Yes, this is very important. Pay attention to how your feet feel. If your feet feel significantly better when they are elevated, say, propped up on pillows above the level of your heart, the problem is most likely venous.
Venous, meaning related to the veins.
Correct. It means the blood returned from your feet through the veins is sluggish. It's struggling against gravity to get back up to your heart, so fluid pools. Elevation helps drain it.
Okay, but what do they feel better when they're down?
Now that's different. If your feet actually feel better when they are down, like when you're standing or walking, the problem might be arterial.
Arterial, meaning the arteries bringing blood to the feet.
Exactly. It suggests the fresh, oxygenated blood supply might be struggling to get down to your feet. Gravity helps in this case. So if your feet feel much better when they're down, or especially if you get cramping pain in your calves when you walk that goes away when you rest, that is a definite signal to see a doctor, probably a vascular specialist, pretty quickly.
Okay, crucial distinction. Elevation helps venous issues, dependency helps arterial issues, and see a doctor for that. So for the more common venous issue where swelling is the problem, compression is helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Wearing basic compression socks during the day is a great, generally inexpensive way to combat this. They basically give your veins some external support to help push that fluid back up against gravity, preventing it from pooling in your feet and ankles during the day. Less swelling means less nerve irritation at night.
Makes sense. preemptive action. And what about soaking the feet?
Simple hydrotherapy can be really beneficial too. Soaking your feet in a warm bath, maybe add some basic Epsom salts. Though even plain warm water helps, can encourage the fluid to leave the tissues faster. It reduces swelling, eases nerve tension, plus it just feels soothing, especially before bed.
Nice and relaxing. Okay, finally, let's just circle back to some general lifestyle factors. Sleep came up again.
It always does, doesn't it? Sleep is foundational for pain management. If you're not consistently getting good quality sleep, aiming for that 7 to 9 hours range, your brain actually interprets any existing pain signals as being 2 to 3 times worse than they are.
Wow, that much.
Yes, it creates a really vicious cycle. Pain disrupts sleep, lack of sleep makes pain feel worse, which further disrupts sleep. You have to break that cycle.
Right. And what about supplements? The market is flooded with expensive neuropathy formulas.
Yeah, our sources generally cautioned against overspending on those often unproven, expensive blends. While some specific deficiencies can contribute, the most reliable advice was simpler. Taking a good quality, standard daily multivitamin that specifically includes B vitamins, particularly B6 and B12, is a proven, cost-effective strategy for supporting nerve health.
Why B vitamins?
The B vitamins are absolutely essential building blocks for the nerves themselves, for their structure and function, including that myelin sheath we talked about.
Yeah.
So focus on that simple, proven foundation rather than fancy cocktails.
Okay, solid advice. And the final 2 habits to really focus on eliminating or at least reducing
The big ones.
the big ones.
Yeah.
Smoking and drinking alcohol
You
excessively.
mentioned alcohol earlier,
Yeah.
right? As a major direct cause of nerve damage, second only to high blood sugar.
Exactly. And as for smoking,
Yeah.
it's terrible for circulation. It constricts the blood vessels, especially the tiny ones, the microcirculation, and those tiny vessels are what deliver oxygen and nutrients to the nerves. They feed the nerves.
So smoking starves the nerves? Essentially, yes. When that blood flow is compromised day after day, the nerves don't get what they need, and the damage accelerates rapidly. Stopping smoking is crucial for nerve health.
Okay, so if we try to tie all these threads together now, connect it all to the bigger picture, it sounds like the most effective home-based strategy isn't just one thing, but a combination approach, a holistic one.
That's exactly right. It's combining that consistent movement, the gentle stretching, the massage with protecting your feet. That means high quality footwear, good inserts, and then optimizing your general health, managing sleep, maintaining a healthy weight, controlling blood sugar, and actively managing any swelling.
It's really about creating an environment both internally and externally, where those stressed, damaged nerves actually have a chance to calm down and start to repair themselves.
You got it. Stop the assault and give them the resources to heal.
So, thinking about the long run, what does this all mean? The research pointed out something a bit sobering. If nerve pain becomes really severe and just goes untreated for a long time, the nerves might eventually become so damaged that they just stop sending signals altogether.
The circuits break down completely.
At that point, the pain itself might actually disappear, but it leaves behind only permanent silent numbness, loss of feeling.
Which brings its own set of problems, like risk of injury.
Right. So this raises a really important question for you, the listener, to think about. When we focus on managing this pain using all these home strategies, are we just treating an uncomfortable symptom? Or are we actually doing something more profound? Are we actively working to prevent that silent, permanent loss of sensation and function down the road?
It's definitely something to consider. Are you putting out the fire or are you rebuilding the house? Hopefully with these steps, you're doing both.